Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about something we all deal with, but maybe don't think about enough: lying. When is it actually okay to lie? I mean, we're always taught that truth is good and lies are evil, right? But is it really that black and white? Could it be that those little polite lies we tell are actually what's holding society together? In this explainer, we're going to dive deep into the value of a lie, all the way from modern online debates to some seriously ancient philosophy. So let's just jump right in with a question I saw in a Reddit discussion. Just think about it for a second. What if everyone everywhere told the absolute, unfiltered truth all the time? No filters, no holding back. Every single thought, good or bad, just out there. Would we create some kind of utopia of perfect honesty, or would it just be total, absolute chaos? And you know what? The folks on Reddit mostly seem to agree. Like this user puts it, these social lies are kind of what keeps the wheels of society turning. And it makes sense, right? Think about that little white lie when someone asks, "How are you?" And you say, "I'm good," even when you're not. It's like a social lubricant. It just keeps things moving along smoothly. The argument is that without these, all our relationships would just be filled with the constant friction of raw, brutal honesty. Now, this whole idea of social lies isn't new, not by a long shot. So let's rewind the clock a bit and look at an ancient philosophy that gives us a totally different way to look at this. One that isn't about truth versus lies, but about a much bigger idea: duty. So, in Confucianism, there's this concept called zhong or zheng. Now, you'll often see it translated as loyalty, but oh, it is so much deeper and more interesting than that. This isn't about just blindly following orders. It's about conscientiousness, this deep duty you have to do your absolute best for others. And get this, sometimes that means telling them a truth that is really, really hard to hear. And this slide right here just breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got what Confucius called slavish obedience, basically just doing what you're told, no questions asked. But on the other side, you have true conscientiousness, and this actually demands that you challenge authority, your boss, your ruler, even your own family if you think they're wrong. So in this view, real loyalty isn't about telling people what they want to hear, it's about doing what's best for them, even when it's tough. And this quote just brilliantly sums up the whole idea. For Confucius, what's really valuable in life isn't gold or jade or any of that material stuff. It's virtues like loyalty and good faith. So whether you speak up or stay quiet isn't about what's easy or convenient. It's about what your duty, what your conscience truly requires of you. It just adds a whole new dimension to our question, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got two big ideas on the table: using social lies to keep the peace and this deeper duty of conscientiousness. But what if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? What if the real issue isn't whether to lie or tell the truth, but why we even care about truth in the first place? Well, this is where the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche walks in, and trust me, he's here to flip the whole table over. Yeah, Nietzsche wasn't a guy who liked to play by the rules. He wanted to put our entire system of morality on trial. He says right here, we need to examine the value of these values. He was asking a question that's as simple as it is earth-shattering. Where do our ideas of good and evil actually come from? And why do we cling to them so tightly? To figure this out, Nietzsche used this method he called genealogy. He argued that our moral values, things like truth is good, they aren't these timeless facts sent down from the heavens. Nope. He said they're human inventions, born out of very specific historical moments and power struggles. He basically wanted to trace their family tree and uncover their messy history. And through this digging, Nietzsche uncovered what he saw as two basic kinds of morality. First, you had master morality, which was created by the strong, the powerful, the nobles. For them, good was easy. It meant being strong, proud, powerful. But then you had slave morality, which was created by the weak and the oppressed, and out of resentment for their masters, they just flipped the script. They started calling their masters evil, and they redefined all their own traits, like being humble and meek, as good. And here's the real kicker. Nietzsche argued that the slave morality won. Our modern values, including our obsession with a single universal truth that applies to everyone, and things like pity, he saw them as a direct inheritance from this slave revolt in morality. To him, these weren't noble ideals at all. They were just clever weapons used by the weak to control the strong. For Nietzsche, this was an absolute catastrophe. He saw this kind of morality as being fundamentally against life itself. It prioritizes the comfort and the safety of the group, the herd, as he famously put it, over the potential for incredible, powerful individuals to rise up and achieve greatness. In his view, it's a system that celebrates mediocrity and is terrified of strength. Okay, wow, that is a lot to take in. We've gone from polite little white lies to this deep Confucian sense of duty, all the way to a radical takedown of morality itself. So the big question is, how can we actually use any of this to think about the choices we have to make in our own lives? Because let's be honest, real life is messy. Ethical problems aren't usually a simple choice between a clear right and a clear wrong. So much more often, it's a conflict between two rights. Like, do you have a duty to tell the truth or a duty of loyalty to someone you love? What do you do when those two things clash? And that kind of conflict shows up in all sorts of ways. Do you put yourself first or the community? Do you go for justice or do you show mercy? Is it about the short-term gain or the long-term good? I mean, these are the real-world situations where all this philosophy suddenly becomes very, very relevant. And as you can see, there are no easy one-size-fits-all answers here. So let's try to put this all together into a kind of toolkit for thinking. When you're facing one of these tough choices, you can look at it through three very different lenses. First, there's the social cohesion lens, where you ask, is this little lie necessary just to keep things harmonious and running smoothly? Then you've got the Confucian lens, where you ask yourself, what is my deepest sense of duty, my conscientiousness truly demand from me right now? And finally, you have Nietzsche's radical, unsettling lens, which forces you to ask, does this choice serve life-affirming strength, or does it serve the weaker values of the herd? In the end, none of these frameworks can give you a simple, easy answer. What they do, though, is they hold up a mirror. When you decide to lie, or when you decide to tell the truth, you're not just making a choice about that one situation. You're making a statement about what and who you value most. So the final question, really, is for you. When you make that choice, whose values are you actually upholding? Are they society's? Are they your own? Or are they something else entirely? Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it and learned something and you want to share your own opinion or maybe an experience you've had with this, please comment down below. I would absolutely love to see your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on that notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos like this. Have a good day. Bye.